Let's do a full face of high-end makeup versus their drugstore dupes. These two are the exact same product. I honestly don't see a huge difference with these two primers. They're both extremely sticky. My case in point.
Well, that's impressive. One side of my face is worth $236 in products, while the other side is worth $69 in products. Can you tell which side is which? But aside from those primers, she also showed some major dupes that will save you major bucks on some of your favorite beauty products. Now, her demo was nice, but I wanted to see what those products look like on deeper skin, so I got a bunch of them. So let's see how the dupes stand up to the department store brands. We're gonna try this makeup on side by side, do some shade tests, and then do a wear test to see which reigns supreme. Let's go. So I wanted to try the concealers first. Normally I put my foundation on first and then the concealers, but since we're comparing the two, I wanted to, just get it all bare. And boy, are we bare. I just went to the dermatologist on Friday, so I'm still a little bruised and puffy, swollen, and all of that. So, we gonna see which one really does the job. So we have the Huda Beauty Faux Filter Matte Buildable Coverage Waterproof Concealer. Boy, is that a mouthful. So this concealer, from what the girlies are saying, it's amazing. I don't remember if I've tried it. I've tried her foundation before and I like the foundation, but the price tag on this is $31 for 0.30 ounce of product, okay? Now, on the other hand, we have the NYX Bear With Me Concealer Serum. Now, concealer serum to me sounds more lightweight, but as we saw from the creator, she compared the two. So I'm like, a serum versus a matte concealer, we're gonna see. At any rate, this is $12 for 0.32 ounces. So you get a slightly more product for, a more than slightly less price, okay? Now, I bought both of these online, so I wasn't quite sure of which one would be the best shade for me. There used to be a time where I could just go online, be like, boop, that's gonna work. But thankfully, there are more options now. So normally I would just go with deep with neutral undertones. Now there are several deep with neutral undertones, and some people call deepest, dark, deep, and not everybody's on the same page. So I was like, let me buy 2 different shades and see which one works best. All right, so this is the Huda Faux Filter Concealer. This is the shade 7.7R Honeycomb. Now the R stands for red. Now with a concealer, depending on where I am concealing, I will go with something that's a warmer or that has a redder undertone, because that warmth is going to cancel out the discoloration. And it depends on the color of your discoloration. Since I feel like I'm mostly speaking to people with deeper skin tones, I would say that we probably be about the same with the discoloration. Most of our discoloration is like a dark purple or dark brown or even black in some instances. So that warmth is going to help to cancel out the discoloration. So this is what the swatch looks like. Looks a little light. Now with concealer, the color that you get depends on where you're going to place it. So since this is going underneath my eyes to cover discoloration, and I'm gonna wind up brightening anyway with a different, we'll get to the, well, are we gonna get to it? No, because I don't have. I usually use the NARS Soft Matte Complete Concealer. I think that's what it's called, Soft Matte Concealer. I usually use that for my highlight, but since here I'm just wanting to cover the discoloration, I want a concealer that's closely going to match my skin tone and that has a warmer, sometimes neutral works, but a neutral to warmer undertone that's gonna cancel out that discoloration. Conversely, you could also use some color corrector, let that dry down for a little bit, and then put concealer on top of that, or even skip the concealer altogether and just put your foundation. It really depends on your preference, the degree of the discoloration, yada, yada, yada. If you would like to see a video where we go in depth on that, let me know, because I'm gonna start throwing in makeup videos on this channel until y'all start watching them. All right, so the other shade is 8.1N Hazelnut. And I feel like the 8.1N Hazelnut might do the job for me for what I'm looking for, whereas this one might be more of like I wanted to cover and brighten. Here I'm just looking to cover, but let me just see, because sometimes they do tend to deepen in color a little bit, and I want to make sure that I get a good match. So, and ditto with the NYX. So this is the darker color, and then this is the lighter color of the Huda. I'm kind of feeling like this is what I'm gonna need, but we'll see. All right, so normally I wait for the concealer to, like, I give it a couple of minutes so that it covers better, but I just want to quickly figure out what shade. So, well, I feel like this one is it. I mean, they both, like I said, depending on what you're looking to do and how much you want to like brighten. They both look good. Like if you want to slightly brighten, I would go with the lighter shade. But if you want something that matches your skin, I'd do this one. I probably need a little bit more because I put more on this side and this side. So this is like a comparison from shade comparison too. So you get like a 2-for-1 in this round. And then also probably in the foundation round because I also wasn't sure which shade was gonna match me best. Yeah, I feel like both shades could work. Like, I wouldn't be mad at either one. I feel like they both covered the discoloration pretty well. It's just that this side is a little brighter. And I still feel like I didn't put on as much on this side as I did this side, but I'm just trying to test here for color. So let me take this off and then we'll try the NYX. All right, now for the NYX, I got shades. This is not telling me what the shade is. They have different SKUs, but what's the shade name? Oh, I see it now. So I got Camel and Mocha. So Camel and Mocha. Actually, I'll do it this way because Mocha's the deeper one and then Camel's the lighter one, just so we kind of keep it consistent. So here's the Camel. I have to say the shades look kind of similar-ish. And then here's the Mocha. Like if we were to compare the NYX lighter shade to the Huda lighter shade and then the, well, I didn't put the NYX deeper shade yet. Yeah, that seems kind of, let's see, let's compare. Oh no, these are super different. Okay, so here are the shades. This one is Honeycomb from Huda. This one is, up here is Hazelnut from Huda. This one here is Mocha from e.l.f. And this one is Camel from e.l.f. Texture-wise, they feel very similar. I would say that I've had the Huda ones on for a shorter time than I have had the e.l.f. one, not e.l.f., NYX. Then I've had the NYX ones on, and the Huda ones already look very matte, and you could see more of like satin finish with the NYX. I was about to call it e.l.f. again. So we're gonna do Camel, okay, and then Mocha. Ooh, Mocha looks like it might not, but let's see. Mocha looks pretty good as a shade that closely matches my skin tone, but covers the discoloration. And then this is Camel. And I usually don't blend concealer with my fingers. I'm just doing that because I don't even know why I'm doing this. Honestly, because I've got the brushes right here. There is an argument for both. The Camel slightly brightens and conceals, while this one is not as bright. Some people who might even go even lighter than this Camel color because they want like that really bright highlight. So you got some options here. You know, years ago, like when I was coming up in makeup, you ain't had that many options. It was like, all right, here. So I do appreciate that there are options. Now, I didn't really look at the full range. As a matter of fact, let me kind of look at that now for both to see what they look like on the even deeper side. All right, so I have to say that they both the e.l.f. and and I keep calling it e.l.f., it's NYX. I would have to say that the NYX and the Huda, you know, just from that preliminary, like putting the products on and, you know, feeling them out and everything, they do feel pretty similar. I would say that the Huda seemed to have more of a matte finish, like it's gonna dry down more matte, whereas the NYX would have more of a satin finish. At my tender age of, probably by the time y'all see this video, I'll already be 44. At my tender age of 44, I do prefer a satin finish for a concealer. I don't want anything that's too matte underneath the eyes because what it can do is wind up, you know, making my eyes look crusty, draw more attention to lines. Not that I have many lines underneath there at the moment because, you know, got a little Botox and some filler in there. At any rate, I'm not trying to have anything too matte on my face because I want to look, you know, I want to look satin, but not too satin. Like a natural satin or even a natural matte, I don't mind. But anyway, let's move on to foundation and then we're gonna put the concealer on. And I just realized that I got concealer all over the handle of the fan and I can wind up getting makeup all over everything. All right, so now for foundation, we are going head to head with the Haus Labs foundation, which I have been wearing. I don't always wear the same foundations all the time, but I really like this one. I've been wearing this for maybe like, probably since it came out. So maybe like 2 or 3 years, don't quote me. And I believe the brand sent this to me because there were a couple of Haus Labs events that I've been to, but I've also bought Haus Labs products too, but I'm pretty sure the brand gave this to me. This is the shade. It's giving, I need to take a picture of the bottom and then blow it up. 470 medium deep cool, which look, these brands will describe undertones and call their foundations all sorts of things. I don't think I have ever, I can't say ever in life, I don't know, I don't recall, but it's, aside from maybe Lancome, I think Lancome has cool in the name of the undertones for one of my foundations, but typically I am deep with neutral undertones, but this is a good match. But is it a good price? Because it is $49 for 1 ounce of product. However, the Revolution Skin Silk Foundation is $14 for 0.77 ounces. So it's a slightly less product here, but when you go, you know, you convert the ounces, you're still gonna get a better price here. Now, I do need to figure out what my shade is in this Revolution because I got both F15 and F16.7 NW. Okay, the 16.7 NW, this is quite a, I'm not sure how these compare because this is quite slippery and silky. Okay, so that is the F16.7 NW. Here's the F15. They look the same to me. Well, all right, let's see, the 15. Now the 15 seems dark. Now when you're picking a shade of foundation and you have a deeper skin tone, there are a couple of things that you want to factor in. Obviously, your undertone has got to be right, otherwise it could either make you look a little sickly or a little clownish, right? So when it comes to picking a foundation shade when you have a deeper skin tone, obviously the undertone is going to, like you really got to get those undertones correct. You know, the more coverage a foundation has. If something's more lightweight, it's more flexible, so you might be able to get away with it, but when something has medium or full coverage, like the monotones, you gotta get the monotones correct. For skin of color, you wanna really look at how the skin is naturally colored. A lot of us, we're darker around the perimeter of our faces and lighter in the center, and if you go and put one foundation shade, you get this very one-dimensional look that might not look as natural. Now, it's probably gonna sound crazy, especially if you're someone who doesn't wear a lot of makeup, that wearing more makeup makes you look more natural, but you know, just trust me here. So with this seeming to be a little darker might not be a deal breaker because then once I put my highlight in, it might, you know, it might still give me a congruent look. We're not looking to be one shade from the, you know, the tip of the forehead, you know, down, because a lot of us aren't colored like that naturally. If you are, you know, good for you. But a lot of us do have different tones in our faces and you want to mimic that when you do your makeup. And I'm also not too sure about this being a dupe for the Haus Labs because this feels more of like a serum foundation. Oh, but it looks good. I think I just put the same shade on twice. What? Because my mother distracted me. My mom is in the background. Okay, this is the F17, and I can't remember if this was the 15 or not, so I'm just gonna take it off and do the 15 over. I'm kind of feeling like this one, but I'm gonna get up and look in the mirror. You know, clearly I don't have this like blended properly, but I feel like the NW, F17 NW, but let me see. Okay, honestly, I can make a case for either one. Once, you know, I have my highlight and contour and everything on. I'm gonna do the 17 NW, but there's also like if they had lighter shades, I kind of feel like the lighter shades might work as well. This is a serum foundation, so it can be a little flexible. I'm not gonna say every deeper shade is gonna work for me because some of them are clearly not, but I think I could have even gone a little lighter than these two. But we're gonna do the 17 NW. This is the last thing I need to shade match for in this video. But if you guys want me to do a foundation shade match video, you guys let me know in the comments and then let me know like what are your biggest gripes when it comes to foundation. So maybe we could do a series and I'll help you to overcome your foundation gripes. All right, so this side we're gonna keep the dupe side and this side we'll keep the expensive side. All right, so now this is my first impressions with this Revolution Beauty foundation and I have to say I'm pretty impressed. Like sometimes with a serum foundation, sometimes they can be quite sheer and it's like, okay, but I need a little bit more coverage to kind of like even things out, you know what I mean? I can even make a case for a full coverage foundation. Wow, and you don't even need a ton of it. From here, I can kind of see how the way it looks, like how they said it was a dupe for the Haus Labs. So I'm gonna do the Haus Labs. The Haus Labs to me is not a serum foundation. Like it it feels more like a regular liquid foundation to me. Smart enough to buy two of the same brushes. This 64 brush from Sephora collection, it's really nice for applying foundation. This on here so you could see what the Haus Labs looks like. I would say that the Haus Labs has more coverage while still looking very natural, which is one thing that I loved about the Haus Labs foundation. But the Revolution, she's not bad. Let me back up so you can, so we have the Revolution, and then we have the Haus Labs. Let me look at this in the mirror. All right, so let me show you swatches. This is the Haus Labs, this is the Revolution, this is the 17 NW, and then I'll do the 15 here. So the 15 from the Revolution, 17 NW Revolution, and then the 470 from Haus Labs. See, there's like a slight difference in the undertones between the 15 and the 17 NW. I don't know if y'all can see that. All right, concealer wise, I'm gonna go with the ones that matched my skin tone better. I don't wanna brighten, at least not at this stage yet. So we're gonna do the Mocha from NYX. And this time I'm gonna let both have time to sit so they could, you know, do their thing. And then we're gonna do Hazelnut from Huda. So this is the NYX, and then this is the Huda. And then this is the Haus Labs, and this is the Revolution Beauty. Now, before I go into the next layers, I'm going to use this Laura Mercier translucent powder in medium deep just to kind of set everything so that we're not like, you know, muddying the waters for the next layers. Okay, so I put on my highlight and contour. I looked in the big mirror in the bathroom and I cannot tell the difference between the sides of the faces, you know, obviously before I put the highlight and contour on. The highlight is the NARS Soft Matte Concealer in the shade Amande, and my contour is from Charlotte Tilbury, the Contour Wand in Tan/Deep, and they have one that's even deeper than this. It's like really chocolatey. But I wanted to show you the highlight and contour. I'm gonna come back with it blended, and then we're gonna move on to some more dupes versus originals, or dupes versus the more expensive, however you want to word it. Okay, so the highlight and contour not only brings dimension back into your face, because if you go and put one wash of the same color all over, it kind of makes you one-dimensional. This brings back the dimension, but not only that, it also brings back that natural coloring a lot of us tend to have, darker around the perimeter, lighter in the center. So I'm going to set my highlight with powder. So here we have the Maybelline Fit Me Loose Powder. This is the shade 30 medium deep. This is $10.99 for 0.7 ounce. Whereas in this corner we have the Huda Beauty Easy Bake Blurring Loose Baking and Setting Powder in the shade Kunafa. Now this mini size is $23 for 0.21 ounces. So even when you compare the mini to the full size of the Maybelline, you're getting way more product for less money here. But in case you were, you know, curious, the full size of this is $39 for 0.71 ounces. So both of these are in a color that I'm gonna use to, like I just said, set my highlight. So let her rip. Now I will say in Maybelline's defense that the Maybelline powder is less yellow because it's not really marketed as a setting powder for like underneath the eyes, like a baking powder. So it is more of like a skin tone, but it was the closest one to this Kunafa color that I could find. You know, you could kind of see that it's, you know, way more yellow, but we'll still kind of look at it based on how it sets and how it feels and, you know, yada yada. Now it does come with its own like applicator thingy, but I stopped using like these sponge things to set underneath my eyes because I do find that, you know, my delicate age, sometimes it looks a little too cakey, so I just use a brush. And I'm not even sure what brand this brush is from. Oh wait, it says it on here. Sigma Soft Blend 60. So we will do the Huda first. I haven't used this powder in a while. I've currently been using the Fenty pressed powder in a similar shade underneath my eyes just because it's like a lot less messy in terms of like me getting powder all over the place in the bathroom. Okay, and then we're gonna do the Maybelline. So as you can see, the Maybelline is more of like a dark beige, brown beige kind of color. Ooh, we got a little dry patch. I don't know if y'all can see that popping up. These two pretty much look the same to me. Let me blend it out. All right, I feel like we're looking very the same on both sides. So now let's continue on with liquid blush. On this side, we have the ColourPop Weightless Liquid Blush, whereas on this side, we have the Rare Beauty Soft Pinch Liquid Blush something or another. Now, the ColourPop is $10 for 0.39 ounces of product, while the Rare Beauty is $25 for 0.25 ounces. So you get a little bit more here for a lot less. Now, obviously these are two different shades, but I had already had the Rare Beauty one and I love this blush. I believe this was sent to me in PR as well. I wanted to get something as close as possible in the ColourPop without having to buy another Rare Beauty blush color. And I might have the pink one here. I don't even know if they have colors that are similar, but this was as close as I could get with the ColourPop. So I do obviously know that these are two different colors, but we can still kind of compare the finish and, you know, longevity and things like that. Now, I was gonna say that the Rare Beauty looks more dewy, but then I was like, I wonder if it's because of the brush that I'm using. So I'm gonna use something a little bit more similar to the other one. I didn't want to use the same exact brush, unless I have two of the same brush. I don't have two of that, because then I didn't want there to be like cross-contamination. But I kind of feel like it's just that the Rare Beauty one is more dewy. I also feel like my application might be a little uneven. I gotta go check in the mirror and see, because it's kind of hard seeing from like a small mirror like this. But for now, I feel like the Rare Beauty is giving me, and this is the first time where I could visibly say like I like one over the other. And it's not even the intensity of the color, it's just like the finish. Like this just seems dewier and it looks more wet than this side does. All right, now we have the bronzers. So the Revolution Beauty bronzer is $8 for 0.247 ounce of product, where the Charlotte Tilbury bronzer is $58 for 0.56 ounce. Now, I do wonder how much of the Revolution is gonna show up on my skin. I've tried and really liked the Charlotte Tilbury before, but there are a bunch of brands that make bronzers that I love. So let's see how, okay, I think that's showing up. It's quite warm. Well, it's a bronzer, so of course it'll be warm. Now the Charlotte Tilbury, I think the Charlotte Tilbury is deeper. Let me go verify in the mirror. Okay, I'm just gonna quickly do my lip. So this is the Lip Bar Curl Friend, the Lip Bar Straight Livin', the Lip Bar Ringleader, and for a little bit of extra shine, I'm doing this Charlotte Tilbury Lip Gloss in Pillow Talk Medium. All right, now when it comes to setting sprays, we have in this corner the L'Oreal Infallible 3-second setting mist. And in this corner, we have the One Size Until Dawn waterproof setting spray. Now, the L'Oreal is $13.99 for 1.76 ounces of product, while the One Size is $34 for 3.4 ounces. However, the 18 ounce, which I've got right here, this 1 ounce is $18. So if you compare the $14 for the 1.76 ounces, and then it's $14. I mean, you're still doing better with the L'Oreal, but they're not that far off. Well, you're still doing better with the L'Oreal price-wise. We shall see how they both hold up. So I'm gonna do the L'Oreal on this side. Okay, the spray can is not as controlled as I was expecting it to be. Okay. Whew. It smells like hairspray, and the can very much looks like hairspray too. And it's got quite some fragrance to it. It doesn't smell bad, but it's very like apparent, the fragrance. I definitely say that I get way more control with the spray for the One Size. Hopefully this is even. Ooh. And the L'Oreal setting spray is very wet when it comes out, so it's like, whereas this one, I feel like the mister on the one side is a little better, but we'll see how they hold up throughout the day, which is coming up in, you know, less than like 5 seconds, because that is the beauty of editing. Like, I done went through my whole day, and it's just gonna show up like boom. All right, I didn't do any touch-ups other than my lip. It is boiling hot outside. Look at this boy. It is boiling hot outside, and I feel like both sides are still looking the same. This is the dupe side, and this is the department store side. Y'all, I'm so bogus. Let me tell you something. It was super hot, but it was like that kind of hot where it feels like you're in a boiling pot of soup. And that kind of hot combined with driving makes me super sleepy. And when I went to lunch with my mama, I had 2 Mai Tais. I wanted to keep this makeup on until at least the sun went down. I'm sitting on the couch like... I'm so bogus, I'm so tired, but I have to say that this was on for a good amount of time. Now, I feel like, aside from, like if you squint, maybe on camera you can see it a little bit more, but I feel like if you, in real life, you have to squint to see that this is pink and that this is more on the reddish side, right? Like if you squint, maybe on camera it looks more obvious, you know? But in real life, you can't see the difference. Other than that, these products, the dupe and the department store, have looked exactly the same to me. They seem to have performed exactly the same. Let me grab a mirror.
2,000 years later.
Okay, oddly enough, I gotta go like this for you to be able to see it. But there is a little creasing under the eyes on the department store side, as opposed to there on the drugstore side. And I don't often have creasing underneath my eyes because I usually set with the Fenty powder foundation. So I don't know, but I think this is very impressive. Even though, you know, I did want to keep it on a little longer. It is now 7:47 p.m. I believe this makeup has been on since around 12-ish today, at the latest 1 o'clock, because I think me and my mom left at like 3 and I filmed 2 or 3 videos, so I'll have my editor put the timestamps up here, like when I put the makeup on and how long I've had it on for. But I feel like it's been a good 6 to 7 hours, which isn't bad because, you know, on certain days we don't gallivant the entire day, you know what I mean? Anyway. All right, guys, so which one are you? Are you dupe all the way down? Are you department store all the way down? Or are there some where you're like, you know what, I'm gonna go with the dupe, and some where I'm gonna go with the department store? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you liked this video, you like finding lower priced dupes for beauty products, check out this playlist right here, where I went to places like Five Below and Dollar Tree in search of some dupes, and a lot of them shocked me. Like, I'm over here like, you know, the police need to be called on a couple of these products, if you know what I mean. So click on this here and I'll see you there.